I'm Pam Sidhu here at Artcore today, and we are at the launch of our exhibition, Connecting Solidarities, 30 years of Derby, Bosnia, Herzegovina Community Association. And joining me now is the man behind all of this, Ferid Kevric, founder and manager of the DBHCA until 2022. Ferid, I know the history here, when I look at these walls, is absolutely phenomenal. How does it feel that this exhibition is happening today here at Artcore, 30 years on from when this all began?
Thank you very much. Today, in my mind before, I never had that this day will come, but it comes. I'm surprised on something that was happening, but I didn't notice that during all these years. I came to this country on maybe different way. I never came to this country to stay. I came to be for 2-3 months and then go back. But it's happened. Why? I was an army officer.
Yeah, so you left your home thinking you would go back in 2 or 3 months, but it wasn't possible. So tell us what happened.
I was an army officer, rank major. In one moment, in 92, I realized that my colleagues are planning to assassinate me, to kill me. So I was trying to be polite with them, pretend I know nothing, but I had my plan to escape when I got a chance because they follow me. I was under surveillance nearly 24 hours. So when that I came, it was just half an hour. In that half an hour, I get out from the barracks. I cross River Drina. I get to the Serbia, to the nest of that nationalism. But I was in uniform. Nobody knows my name. Nobody knows who I am. Even people saluting. But I was planning to get out of the country. So I managed. I bought passport on a black market. So I managed to get out from former Yugoslavia, through the Hungary, to the Germany. They stopped me in Germany for 2 weeks. I needed visa to cross to the Belgium and Holland. Somehow, that is the story, special story, how to I get to visa. So coming to England on 17 July 92 by car. I was only a refugee or asylum seekers or migrant coming by car, but I had car. That was the only way of transport. So I came in 92. In July, I set up in Derby. I never moved out of Derby.
So even though you thought you were leaving just for 2 or 3 months, you set up here in Derby, and now 30 years later, it's still home. And not only did you set up your own home, but you set up the Bosnian Center as well. What was that journey like? Was it easy? Was there support there? Or have you, I can only imagine that the resilience and strength that you showed to survive and leave Yugoslavia on your way here, that you've needed to still draw on a lot of that to then help other people in the community.
First, I had the knowledge about this country, but I didn't speak a word of English. So after 3-4 months, I realized I'm not able to go back to Yugoslavia. I report that to the Home Office. They said I need to apply for asylum. So I said old story about myself. My friend translated to English. I copied back to the form. Home Office asked me every 6 months to go to Croydon. So I was traveling for 3.5 years, every 6 months to Croydon to get 6 months extension. After 3.5 years, they gave me refugee status. It was, for me, wasn't easy in 92. Nobody knows the refugee for Bosnia. Nobody knows who I am. In 94, the government stepped in. Government brought to the other people to the England. And the Derby people was so nice. I remember them coming during the Christmas time, bringing gifts to the children, gifts to. It was the time when we had a help, direct help to the Bosnian project, but we were thinking that we need to do something else, something to ourselves. We had help. That help doesn't exist anymore. At this day, that help is not there. Is not to help the community group to set up. There is some help through the state, uh, too far from what we had on that.
So you were in that fortunate time when help did exist, and through that you created, the center. And after you arrived here, of course, there was a lot of conflict in Bosnia, and there was a huge mass population movement of people. A lot of people then didn't have anywhere to live. They were displaced, and Derby became home to a few Bosnian people. Um, how was that for you then, being on the other side of things, being here to help and welcome people?
The first thing, the Bosnians who came in '94, they met me, first person from Bosnia. I already picked up some knowledge. I already was able to help a little bit, but still my language was just kind of rubbish. But one thing I learned that this society need educated people. This society need people who will take opportunity. So that was my advice to the Bosnians coming over here. So we start to meet. Another group of the Bosnians started to meet. At the end, we came with a Bosnian club that is kind of constitution. So we were different than the people from Asia, from Africa, because we came from Europe. We came from a well-organized country, Yugoslavia. So we had the knowledge how to do that. We needed language, but we took opportunity. We set up club, we set up a lot of meetings, we managed to get later some funding, and then also the Bosnia was on scene. Bosnia was on a spot. I remember once News at 10, which was 30 minutes, 25 minutes, they were talking about Bosnia. So we were on a spot, on that time, but we took that opportunity.
Well, I remember that time. I remember seeing those images on the news. And I remember myself and my family, we sat there shocked at what was actually happening. And as you mentioned, there's still a lot of conflict happening around the world. But let's bring it back to this exhibition today, because of course this is showing the journey and showing the great achievements of the Bosnian Centre and how the community here has settled. So how did this project come about? Who approached you?
When the people from Derby University approached me talking about possible project, I didn't think so long. I said, yeah, okay, I'm going to be involved. I'm going to help. They asked me about the Bosnian community. I explained. My colleagues, they said, Ferid is the best person for that because he was involved from the beginning up to now. So I said, okay, fine. But I've not been expecting the exhibition. I was thinking it is a project. It is about research. It is about the people from university. They will ask questions. We will answer, or that's all. But as the project developed, I found that we are going to do exhibition. Okay, so I was consultant on a project. So also the person who collect archive. So I provided more than 4 gigabytes different R5. So over here in this exhibition, we see maybe 10, 15 photographs. I've got maybe 2,500, 3,000 of them. But this exhibition show to the Bosnians, to me, show how is possible with few details, chosen details, to show the story of the community. We learn a lot of. It's going to help us in the future funding because we've been acknowledged as a community who did something good for the Bosnians. But for the last 15 years, we are doing for all of the community groups. So we are focal point for the refugee asylum seekers in this city.
So you're still doing the wonderful work. Thank you so much, Ferid. And I'd like to bring in now, we have Associate Professor Dr. Larissa Allwork, Project Lead for AHRC Connecting Solidarities. Hi, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today. And we also have Giulia Levi, Lecturer of Public Service. Now, I know you two ladies, together with your team, have worked tirelessly on this project. Can I ask, how did it come about?
Well, it was really a collaboration that came from me and Giulia meeting for coffee one day in the University of Derby. So previously I'd approached Ferid and Nejad about potentially doing an exhibition project, but unfortunately that one wasn't funded. And then Giulia visited the centre and met Ferid and said that you were interested in doing some research, and then they said, or Ferid and Nejad said, oh, there's this researcher at the University of Derby, Larissa, who you might want to talk to. And then I'll leave it to Giulia to say the kind of the next bit.
Yeah, and then we met and we started thinking about this project. So it started really from conversations and from the interest in the history of this association, which is unique in a way. So we really wanted to work with Nejad and Ferid to know more about it and to communicate it to the city of Derby as well.
And how important do you think that is? Why is it important to communicate it to the city of Derby?
I think it's very important because this association has been part of the city for so long. And they are in constant communication with the city, so we are just, telling a story that is happening already. They are such a big part of this community. The maps that we realized for this project really show that, of how well connected they are with the whole fabric of the city, with other organizations supporting refugees. So we just wanted to find a creative way to tell this story.
And I think in addition to that, it's also to say that, the anniversary in 2025 of 30 years, since Srebrenica made this a particularly historic moment in order to do this project and to mark this commemorative moment. And I think what's really fascinating about the centre is the way in which they've embodied that as an ethic. So they take what happened to them as a community, but then they support new refugees who are experiencing similar issues.
And those new refugees might not even be from where they were originally from. They're helping all people, regardless of which war-torn conflict they've come from.
Absolutely. So I think that made this project, really, really interesting for me because of that dimension to it. And then the other dimension to it from the perspective of a historian as well is that over the course of 30 years, you have a number of generational stories. So you have the story of someone like Ferid, who was, very much a man who had children when he came to the UK in 1995. Then you have those children who came in 1995, who were children or who were teenagers, who have now grown up now into adults with their own children. So that moment of 30 years becomes a really important moment to tell all of the different multi-dimensional perspectives on not only the experience of this conflict at first hand, but also the way in which that is communicated to future generations of that community.
Of course, and it was great to see the turnout tonight and to see how many people actually came along to support exactly what you're saying in terms of the history of what has happened here. And it's very much a part of Derby's history right now. So thank you both for, I know I've seen you working tirelessly on this project together with Artcore to get everything ready. So thank you both for bringing this to the forefront.
And I think just to say, you know, on film as well, how fantastic Artcore have been in terms of supporting this exhibition. Rashida, Zahir, Hemel, and also all of the technician hands who have been working on this. They really do give 100%. So thank you. You know, that commitment to the community is really appreciated.
That's great. And you can catch this exhibition at Artcore Albert Street free of charge for the next 2 weeks.